Well, to discuss all of this further, we're going to bring in Michal Cotler-Wunsh. She's Israel's special representative and anti-Semitism and former member of Israel's parliament as well. So just an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much. Can we just start by talking about what does Memorial Day mean to you in your position?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anna, for having me. And actually, you know, the fact that it is Memorial Day could not be more meaningful. And when we mark the lives and the understanding that 1,200,000 Americans paid with their lives for what we may take for granted, and that is freedom, and that freedom is not free. This intersects essentially with the war that Israel has been fighting on and since 10/7 for our freedom, and in very many ways for the shared values that we shared with the United States of America. So it cannot be a more profound day to meet here.
We've also seen protests on college campuses across the country, and really what some would call a rise in anti-Semitism. What have you noticed, and what do you think needs to be done?
So, Anna, it is not a rise. It is a tsunami of anti-Semitism, with hundreds of percentages, in many cases all over the world, attacking Jews on campuses, online, on the streets for their identity in the wake of what was the worst attack of Jews since the Holocaust on 10/7. And that tsunami, that rise in anti-Semitism that actually targets the individual Jew, dehumanizing and delegitimizing and applying to double standards to the individual Jew on university campuses, in those encampments where Jews cannot get through, or Zionists, that codes Jews, cannot get through. By the way, non-Jews too, that believe in Israel's not only right but responsibility to protect its civilians, is what we've seen in that very, very dangerous intersection that 10/7 was, which, like 9/11, 10/7 was an attack of barbarism on civilization. And what we have seen in the 7.5 months, including the 125 hostages still held by Hamas, a genocidal terror organization, alongside other terror organizations, and you showed today, continue in tens of thousands of rockets that have been targeting Israelis. So today, there was a barrage of rockets by Hamas from Rafah. But we have to be very, very clear. There have been continued rockets not only on 10/7, but since 10/7, targeting Israelis from the north by Hezbollah, from the Red Sea by the Houthis, from Hamas, all proxies of the Islamic regime in Iran, who itself attacked Israel on April 14th.
Well, it's all very complicated, and it needs to end. It's been 7 months now. I want to get your thoughts on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We just showed the video of protesters in the streets. Some are saying that he is worried more about his politics than his people. How do you feel about him?
The people of Israel are fighting an existential war. A war for freedom and a war for our lives. When the state of Israel was attacked, not just on 10/7, but since 10/7, the imperative to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves like any other country, like when Al-Qaeda attacked the United States of America, like when ISIS attacked and continues to attack democracies. The understanding that this is not actually the heartbreak is what is at the heart of those demonstrations. 125 people, including babies, children, Holocaust survivors, are still being held in the terror dungeons and tunnels that Hamas built. That is what's tearing up the state of Israel in terms of how we can actually bring them home. Right. There was a ceasefire on 10/6. There would be a ceasefire on 10/7 if those then 240 plus people that were stolen from their beds, alongside the women that were raped and the entire families that were burned alive and the many that were mutilated and those that were abducted, would just be returned home. And so, yes, Israel is at a very challenging moment in a war for freedom that, as I said, on Memorial Day, we are reminded that freedom is not free.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.